Welcome into Inside LAFC podcast. We are live on LAFC YouTube. We are live on LAFC Facebook. I think we still have time to wish everyone a happy new year, prospero año nuevo. I should have learned how to say that in Korean. We'd like to welcome our Korean audience as always, as we get ready for what is going to be a fantastic, I'm already going to say it, spectacular 2026. We welcome you into the show. We encourage you to like the video, subscribe to the channel as promised. Back with a vengeance here in 2026. Leave your comments, questions, and concerns. We have plenty of news to talk about, and we are always looking for new things to talk about. There we are, everyone rolling in. Our wonderful loyals. Happy New Year, Max. Thank you to Coog. Good afternoon from Edgar. Alan dropping Mr. Worldwide. You may have followed my social media. I was in Spain, in Madrid, in the Basque Country. I came back. I'm safely in my studio here, not 100%. Whole family's not feeling great. That's travel. I think everyone in the airports I saw was feeling a little under the weather. Thank you, Juice323. We welcome in. I do have a little cup of tea here, just in case, to go through some topics. So we're going to be here 2026, same time, early morning there in Korea, 12:30 Pacific time. And as the year goes on, there's going to be a lot of good stuff. And stay on the YouTube channel. There's a lot of great programming coming up. We'll let you know when it happens. And there's going to be New Year's as well. Woogie Park, I'm in Korea. Welcome, Woogie Park, 1100. Bright and early. I hope you have your coffee or whatever you get to start your day. Sometimes it's a few push-ups, what have you. Craig, Happy New Year. How was Europe? You should have dropped by for a pint. Drop by in Scotland. Had a layover in London on the way there. I actually did not drink as much as I'd like or eat. I'm actually 4 pounds lighter today. I didn't plan it. I was hoping to put on about 5 lbs, but so be it. So welcome, everyone. We're going to talk about some news that broke because we were dark last Monday, the only week of the year, and we are back. Edgar's first time he is here. Everyone welcome Edgar. Edgar, I think you'll like it. Spread the word. We'll have a co-host during the season, and we'll talk about the games. And this is a great place. You can watch it live, or you can watch it on delay. You have your options. Ruben, how was Spain? The churro chocolate looked the best. Yeah, in Madrid, they start their day with this hot chocolate, dark chocolate. You can drip a churro. You would think it would wipe you out, but it actually gives you a little kick in the trousers, and you feel good. Woogie, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. All right, I'll get to all of you guys. It's great to see everyone. As you know, we love doing this program, and we're in the off season, and things are going to start heating up here in the next few weeks. LAFC, the players will start reporting. Marc Dos Santos getting everything in order in his field, getting there's going to be more moves, and we're going to start today with the first move of the off season, which was a good one, widely lauded, widely respected by people in the know. Jacob Shaffelburg is joining LAFC. You're correct from Woogie. This was big. I mean, as soon as it happened, everyone's like, whoa, LAFC ahead of the game, which they always are. Every offseason, they come in and they have high ambition. Now, remember, when we last left you, I believe it was 24, 25 players under contract for next season. So a rare opportunity, albeit with a new coach, a rare opportunity where you have a roster that is going to be prêt-à-porter, as they say in French, ready to wear, ready to go for the start of the season, unchanged for the most part. As we saw in the last 2 seasons, there has to be a process. And remember, LAFC will begin in CONCACAF Champions Cup. They're going to have a lot of games. And that's where I think Jacob really comes in. I reached out to him on social media. He reached back immediately. From the great province of Nova Scotia, it continues our great connection into Canada. We have a Canadian coach from Quebec. We have a Nova Scotian. We have a Quebec player in Mathieu Choinier. We have, where was Thomas Nassau? Was he from Saskatchewan? I mean, we got Canada covered and all the former great Canadians. Very exciting. And I know Canadians will tune in. We're going to be very popular in Canada, which is a good thing. Juice 233 wanted to mention about the George Chiellini bobblehead. Season ticket members did get their season ending gift, and it included espresso cups and a Giorgio Chiellini bobblehead, which I would like to get on the set here. Maybe I could put it there. It's always good to have Giorgio nearby. And then you had those espressos. So Jacob Shaffelburg. This is a true winger. Now, they traded him from Nashville. Savvy move by John Thornton, as is usually the case. They split the allocation money, $500,000 in 2026, which is nothing. You look at some of the moves being made. Players are trading guys that I don't think are as good as Shaffelburg for $1.5 million. There's going to be another $500K sent to Nashville in 2027. Nashville will retain the sell-on part of the sell-on percentage if Shaffelburg, who's 26, gets sold on. He is electrifying fast. Last year, MLS keeps tabs. So anyone who does a sprint, they tabulate that. And it could have happened in the first game, the last game, or wherever in the season. Whoever had the fastest sprint. I believe Shaffelburg had the second fastest sprint, deadline sprint, at one point in the season behind Moise Bombito. So he is fast, which is good for a team that has transition, although not exclusively transition. And we have to see what Marc Dos Santos is going to play here with this team, because it could be very different. Although Marc Dos Santos, make no mistake, signed off on this acquisition. And it has the feel of a Marc Dos Santos move. So we have Son Heung-min and Denis Bouanga, and we either have three midfielders or a third attacking player. At the end of the year, it could have been Nathan Ordaz. And it's a big question. What happens in Nathan or David Martinez? Sometimes Timothy Tillman. Sometimes just the two. So you could put Shaffelburg there. I think there's going to be moments where he'll start. But remember, with all these games, CONCACAF Champions Cup and MLS and whatever comes thereafter, you're going to find a moment. Jacob Shaffelburg could be a great change of pace off the bench. And he's a great addition because it wasn't like the thing that you look at what happened with Nashville. They changed their style under BJ Callahan. More possession-based, which kind of kept Shaffelburg corralled a little bit. He played 23 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. Not a big goal scorer, assist player, but he is a difference maker in the way he can stretch a field because of his speed. Everyone I've spoken to loves this move. Everyone said, here's LAFC again. Unexpected. When we spoke to John Thornton, he said, we're going to look for a young DP, maybe in that attacking role like Andy Moran, which would say like a 10 or the like. Maybe get some depth, central defense as you wait for Aaron Long to come back, and more maybe another player in the defensive midfield until Igor Jesus returns. And then they get this winger. He is going to be pumped. As we said in our last show, the MLS Players Association, pardon me, sorry a little bit about that. The MLS Players Association said that the players of MLS identified LAFC as the number one destination, the best home field advantage. Players want to come here. So Jacob Shaffelburg, we know players want to go to Europe. This is the next best thing or as good to come to LAFC. And we'll get to why LAFC is getting bigger on the world stage in a moment as well. What do you think about Jacob Shaffelburg? Have you watched him play? Are you getting ahead on your jersey? Not quite. I'm going to get to the comments here in a little bit as I put a bow on Jacob Shaffelburg. Canadian national team. He used to start. He helped Canada qualify for the 2022 World Cup. Didn't make the final roster. Has made it back to the Canadian national team under Jesse Marsh. Jesse Marsh likes him. He was starting a bit. Ali Ahmed has displaced him as the starting winger for the Canadian national team, but most people believe Shaffelburg will be on that 2026 roster as a reserve. Ali Ahmed, by the way, making the move from the Vancouver Whitecaps to Norwich City in the EFL Championship. So there are opportunities here. Canada, by the way, plays Guatemala on January 17th at BMO Stadium. I expect to see Shaffelburg and all the Canadians in that game. That's a gift for Canada in a World Cup year to get guys together. So we'll see if Jacob plays. We'll know soon enough and come out to BMO Stadium and support him. January 17th. That should be a fun one. I expect to be there. You know, if there's a game there and my schedule is open, I will go. And I'll be excited to get back to BMO Stadium. So let's see what the comments. Quickly for Edgar, is LAFC going to be part of the U.S. Open Cup? Not this year. They will be part of Leagues Cup moving forward. New right wing will be great, I hope. The thing with Jacob Woogie is the attention that Son Heung-min and Denis Bouanga can draw for a guy with that speed. And I don't want to just describe Jacob as this transition guy who's fast. He's pretty gifted technically. He has grown in MLS to be when he is good, pops off the screen. Self-made, did it the hard way, coming through the Toronto FC and to Nashville and now to LAFC, where I think he's going to lift his game. What number does he wear? Maybe that has been determined. I don't have that for us at this part. Three-headed beast. Love it. Yeah, listen, LAFC, you would like to, there's that DP available, but they might go with the young DP route, which makes sense. But this is really nice. This feels not like a DP, but maybe one tuck underneath it to get a guy that good who was made available because Nashville is kind of going in a different direction. Yeah, all is good. Everything about LAFC is working like a well-oiled machine. I feel that way. I'm excited. I think they're going to hit the ground running when they face Real España and then Inter Miami in the MLS opener on the February 17th, February 24th. That's just a few weeks away. Is there a chance Griezmann could come? Antoine Griezmann, there's talks about him maybe going to another MLS team. I know he wants to come here, but I think that window was there. I think he wants to come to LA. I wouldn't rule it out, but I haven't heard anything. But I think it makes sense for Antoine Griezmann to come here. Antoine Griezmann fills that profile like Lionel Messi, Son Heung-min, who will come here and really appreciate this league. I should say Thomas Mueller, even more so, and put a club on their back. And we will talk about some of the teams that might be looking. If he doesn't come to LAFC, I would like to see him in MLS. Any news on Christian Espinoza? I know there's some rumors about the former Earthquakes number 10 coming through. I would be surprised after the Shaffelburg news if he would come in. But with all the games that LAFC are going to play, depth will be something that you would like to build up. Coliseum LAFC is going to be a movie. Oh, man, it's going to be unbelievable. Get your tickets. Tickets available on LAFC.com, so you can check that out. As I said, there's no dull minute when it comes to talking about LAFC. So many good comments here. Yes, yes, from one of our listeners in Korean. By the way, Woogie said good morning in Korean, and then he adjusted to English. And we want to tell our Korean audience, you can get the subtitles on the re-air. We will be working hard to get everything up and running, so we can provide the best service for this program, Black and Gold Insider, every other program that we have here, every special that we'll run on YouTube, Facebook, and all our social media channels. So we do appreciate that. Let's get back on the rails here, and a great moment. And so happy. I saw Rich Orozco on his social media posting that he was going to Dubai, and I was kind of in the dark about it and what was going on. And then we found out LAFC, best in branding at the Globe Soccer Awards. Globe Soccer Awards, a pretty new award show that they put together to honor branding, best team, best everyone who's involved in soccer. It's a big gala in Dubai. It's an award show. I mean, sometimes if you're on the player side, it's not the Ballon d'Or or whatever this, but in this situation, it is seismic. LAFC gets acknowledged on the world stage. There is Rich Orozco holding the best branding award side alongside Cristiano Ronaldo. Vinicius is there. Everyone who's everyone. I reached out to Rich and I congratulate him because he deserves a lot of the credit. And I'll tell you why here in a moment. He said it was incredible to be on that stage with all these people, famous players, famous managers, executives, administrators, the who's who. They invited everyone, the biggest agents, all there. And LAFC acknowledged, which means they are making some serious headway. And the world gets that information. And I want to get into Rich Orozco and Pat Aviles, so many others that made this possible. But when I joined the club ahead of year one in 2018, I rolled right into that, had a meeting with Rich. Then they had a preseason game in Sacramento. That was pretty good. And there was 2 buses of players, and they had built this brand that they have stood next to ever since, unchanged, uncompromised. They did all the homework before the year 2018 and said, this is it. And that tagline, unite the world city through the world's game. And have they done that now? Unbelievable. Through fan culture, through authenticity. I've seen so many clubs do, and I remember Rich saying, he goes, we're not going to do little sketchy things and things that could take a little shine off of it. We're not going to be, being cute with our social media. And I was like, well, and I fought it. But their vision was true. They were right about it. And now that brand is powerful. And everyone here who loves LAFC, who attends a game, who wears a jersey or a shirt, can take credit on that. But Rich, I am so happy for him. I hope when he tunes in, to give him mad respect for sticking to it and doing, making sure that the brand, the logo, the taglines, the spirit, the black and gold branding, the strong, clear identity held true. And now you see that not only are we noticing it in Los Angeles, Major League Soccer, Don Garber had a tweet about it. I mean, this is a big deal for the league. And I saw someone saying San Diego's FC's Right to Dream Academy won Best Academy. And then LAFC hired La Masia technical director who fostered the growth of Forward the Year of Lamine Yamal. That's very true, David. LAFC and MLS cooking with gas across the board. And this award certainly goes a long way. So congratulations to Rich and Pat, who did the heavy lifting, the hard work. I mean, it was thankless work, brick by brick, street by street. And now they have this. And now we get excited about building it with the history of the club and the results and the players that have worn that jersey and worn that badge and that crest on their shirt. It's fantastic. So congratulations to all of you. We're very excited. This is Inside LAFC podcast, kicking off 2026, the year of the World Cup, the year of the first full season of Son Heung-min, the year we get our hands on another MLS Cup. Like the video. We know you always do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And the news will be coming in thick and fast, I can assure you there. But some great stuff about LAFC. I watch MLS but don't have a team, but I like LAFC. It's a team that's been consistent since they've joined MLS with big squads. They've been happy. We're not going to force you to like her, but it would be a good one. And it's a very important decision to pick an MLS club. And I think so many people who have favorite teams elsewhere who are not from the United States, or I think particularly in Mexico, are looking for an MLS team, it's a very personal decision. I think LAFC has it depends who you are and what you're from, where you're from. And it sounds like you're on your way to being a fan. By the way, Jelly did say, Ruben, about the shirt. Yeah, the New Jersey Allen, we mentioned February 11th will be released. So thanks. Great memory on you guys. SoCal, the new mecca of soccer academies. We shall see. I mean, they ain't messing around what they're doing in San Diego and LAFC and the Galaxy too, man. Matisse Albert, who's arguably the second best under-17 player, right ahead of our Jude Terry. Jude Terry's close. I think he's third. That so much talent, but you got to find that talent. But we know in San Diego and Orange County, all the way up to LA, to Central Coast, and Santa Barbara and beyond, that there is some tremendous talent, but you got to fight to find it. And now there's a lot of competition, but they're treating these players right. And hopefully that continues to go in the next direction. Let's take a look at everyone in here. Wow, great. MLS Cup is ours this year. Miami getting excellent signing few players. How about us sign a big player? We'll get to what Miami's doing in a moment, and then we're going to win the Shield as well. Hi, Max. Do you know when the players have to report to the club to start training for the new season? I do. I'm going to pull that up. I had that information. It's going to be here pretty soon, quite frankly. The exact date may change for different teams. We have listing. I'll get that information here in a moment for you. But yes, the players, I think you got a couple weeks and they'll start reporting to camp. We will get an introduction to all the new guys end of the month. Then there will be games in mid-February. So, I mean, we had those super draft picks as well. So a lot of new players that are coming in there. So here in the next week or two, I'd say 2 weeks, we would know exactly when that is going to happen. CONCACAF Champions Cup greater than MLS Cup. That's going to be on January 10th. Let's say January 17th, subject to change for when the players report. January 17th, we'll set that as a hard date. So it's going to be soon. So those players, if you went on the LAFC account, they're all vacationing. We saw Ryan Hollingshead and Aaron Law deep diving. I mean, going deep. They're going to have to get ready. But everyone, Matthew Chouanier was on a safari. Ryan Porteous was there with his family and friends. I saw him taking in a game at his former club at Hibernian, where the news in Scotland, Wilfred Nancy is out at Celtic. And I was watching SPL. I don't know if I'll watch much more. MLS is a much better league. So everyone doing some exciting things. Son Heung-min keeping up appearances all over the world, taking some much-needed time. You can only imagine the demands on Sonny on a regular basis. Bouanga still putting in work on the offseason. We'll talk about Denis here in a moment. Edgar says he wants to see if he likes LAFC. I live in California, 5 hours away. I've gone to LAFC games 2 years ago against the Rapids. Great stadium. I bought a T-shirt. Sounds like you're 1 foot in the door, buddy. 1 foot in the door. When are the players returning from the break? We're going to set it at January 17th. Maybe sooner. Maybe sooner. Inside LAFC podcast. We are live here on every Monday, 12:30 Pacific time. LAFC YouTube and LAFC Facebook. We welcome our fans all over the world. If you're tuning in from somewhere outside of California, let us know where you are. Let us know where you are. We want to hear you. This I wanted to touch about in a little bit. No shade. It sucks that Ricky Pooch needs another surgery. He's out another year. I actually like that guy as far as rivals go. Me too. I think it illuminates what we do in LA. Galaxy had a bad year. They've been very active this offseason. They've signed two new center backs. I think they got a new goalkeeper coming in as well. A good LA Galaxy is good for LAFC, and Ricky Pooch stirred that rivalry pot, and he was missing last season. And just on a personal level, to miss 2 years in the height of your career when you're the most valuable player financially in MLS is you don't wish that upon anyone, even though he may be viewed as the enemy, which he is in this case. But I was looking forward to the Galaxy coming back so that those rivalry games are as good and as big as they possibly are. I think last year the Galaxy were so poor that they lifted the games against LAFC, and it took a lot of shine off the club because you dropped points to a team you shouldn't. So when that was all they had in that point, their season was like, all we got is to play spoiler, and they certainly did that. So yeah, Dave, I'm glad you mentioned that. I understand talking about Galaxy too much here, but there is a connection between these teams. And Ricky Pooch, you want to see him in these big games because it helps the rivalry. It helps the league. Someone mentioned Denis Bouanga. We do want to talk about Denis Bouanga, AFCON, and what happened afterwards. Gabon suspends the national team. This was a bizarre story, but nothing out of the ordinary that we've seen in African football. I think it was the Ivory Coast. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Maybe it was Nigeria where the players failed in AFCON. And the government wanted to keep them in camps. And we're talking about players that play in Europe, make millions of dollars. And they go, no, you got to stay here. You're being punished. And they're like, wait a minute. So AFCON's been great. And the African competition is getting better. They have 9 teams at the World Cup. And I think the Democratic Republic of Congo will make it 10 in those in the playoffs coming up. So just to give you an idea of what happened, Gabon suspends the national team. They fired their coach, Terry Muyumba. They also axed their all-time leading goal scorer, Patrick Aubameyang, and Ekwel Manga, who's their legendary captain, top goal scorer all time. Secondary top scorer. Aubameyang is at top. It was very unsavory. Now, that was a week ago. We haven't really heard anything that's happened about what's going on with Gabonese football. But to do that to your all-time leading goal scorer, Patrick Aubameyang, and this also, what happened with Aubameyang is that they had some issues with his release coming from Marseille. And AFCON's in a weird time. It's in December, and some people are saying the big league should pause for African football, and I don't think that's out of the realm of a request. but you can't keep pausing leagues because they won't be able to finish the leagues with all the international breaks. It just so happens that's for African football. And a lot of European teams, there's so many African players playing in the top leagues, more so than ever before. Mo Salah. There was one team, was it 6 players at Manchester United? Manchester United fired their coach. There was I might have the wrong Premier League team, but you're talking about 100, 150 players in the top European leagues leaving for African Cup of Nations. So hopefully that, the news was harsh, but it settles on, but it obviously leaves a bad taste in what happened with Gabon and our Denis Bouanga. Gabon didn't play. They weren't good. And remember, they had a really good run in World Cup qualifying. They were this close after making that mini playoff to make the other playoff. And you look at what Gabon has done historically prior to this, never made a World Cup. This is, I think, the closest they've come. They only played in one of the previous 3 AFCONs. So just qualifying is a positive move for them. They don't always qualify. But they were at big expectations. They were in a group with Cameroon, Ivory Coast, and Mozambique. Cameroon and Ivory Coast could both win this tournament. They lost to Cameroon 1-0 in the first game. And what probably got Gabon in trouble is they lost to Mozambique 3-2. You can't lose to Mozambique. They just had a bad night. And then they played the Ivory Coast, who are the reigning AFCON champions. And they play tomorrow against Burkina Faso. I think Ivory Coast might repeat. Gabon led 2-0. Denis Bouanga scored a goal. And then Ivory Coast came back and won it in the 91st minute, 3-2. Denis Bouanga started all 3 games. He was subbed in the 76th minute against Mozambique, basically went the whole distance in the other 2 games. And I just want to say this about Denis Bouanga, and this is LAFC fans. He would drop everything he's doing to represent his country. He would take a flight in the middle of the night, back of the airplane, land, go straight to the field, come back and play for LAFC. It's important to him. So I feel really bad that he had to go through this. And he was not singled out. And maybe Denis Bouanga inherits more of the space, but he adores Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang when you talk to him. He's like, oh, that's the guy. So I know that's affecting him because his guy has been singled out. That's his idol. And it really stinks because Gabon's the only team that did it. Should they have advanced? Yes. Should they have beaten Mozambique? Yes. Could they have held on against Ivory Coast and got a point? Yes. They didn't. But Gabon is in a much better place footballistically than they have been at any point. But this just throws a wet blanket on it. So it's disappointing. It's good that Denis got some games. We're hoping he get another game, high, risk, important stakes games, but it wasn't meant to be. Not all stories are good, but we love Denis. He'll be back, and we expect to see him fully in the camp. Inside LAFC podcast. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you are new, drop us a note. There's some people rolling in. That was a tough loss. Yeah, it was. Not only would he do it, he has done it 100%. Denis Bouanga is just a dream for any national team or club. Pile on the minutes and no shortcuts. I'm sad we got rid of Morin. He has lots of spirit. I think LAFC would have loved to keep him, but the problem is he's coming from a Premier League team. And they're not going to give you a discount. And we're talking, I don't know what the price is, but it's a lot more than you could imagine. He is a high-level prospect. It was great that we had him for what we wanted. He loved being here. And he'd be a perfect fit. Are we keeping Porteous? Him and Long make a solid wall. Ryan Porteous is a long-term signing. He'll be back for a couple more years. Aaron Long, still coming back from the Achilles injury. He won't start the season, but hope to see him somewhere in the spring. And Kosi Tafari, who, by the way, I speak to the data people at LAFC. They say he gets high check marks for everything. They just need him to kind of really be uber focused game to game, but he can be a top. He shows those signs of what he can do. Great with his feet. And we'll see what that stable of center backs looks like. They certainly could use one more for cover before Aaron Long gets in there. But even Eddie Segura dropping back, there are options. They were a very good defensive team without Aaron Long at the end of 2025. I expect him to be great in 2026. Is that even possible for the nation to dismember the team? I don't know if that's the wrong choice of word, but yeah, I think it's going to dilute, and Gabon will come back. It's kind of a flex from the government. FIFA has a rule statute that prevents government intervention, but this we usually hear from African football, and I put that in the category of the passion. It's so big. It's big everywhere, but it's so big there, and I think Gabon felt like they were so close to do something historic, qualify for the World Cup, make the round of 16 in AFCON, and they fell short. And it's gotta stink. But no one feels worse than the players. No one feels worse on the players, I can assure you. Any more updates on new signings? Just Shaffelburg, but more news will come. And I went on the MLSsoccer.com website, and they've already graded out the offseason. And LAFC's at the top, just based on the just based on the Shaffelburg signing. I see Eddie Segura working out like crazy to stay fit. Have you seen that on LAFC social media? I mean, it's like the Rocky montage in Rocky 4. That could be a dated reference, but when he's in Siberia, it's Eddie Segura, man. I would not underestimate him having another huge year. He keeps getting better. It's an issue of staying healthy, and we are so fortunate to have him. I'm excited about this team. The front line seems solid after the Shaffelburg signing. Does the next priority shift to midfield or back line? I think if I had to take a guess, the next move would be a defender. We're pretty good in the fullback situation with Hollingshead, Palencia, Smoliakov, and whatever cover we can get there. So I think a center back, Ryan Raposo played some fullback in the playoffs. So there's some good opportunity. I think a center back would make sense. And from John Thornton's lips, a guy who could fill that Andy Moran role. So someone with attacking verve who could play a 10 or a winger, a hybrid player. I think that is very true. We're going to wrap it up here soon. Inside LAFC podcast. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for joining us every Monday, all 2026. We'll be back with our great friends breaking down games when they come. I will be at Coachella there in February. Was it mid-February? The LAFC has a game there against New York City. You can check that out. I will be there. I highly recommend doing a weekend out there. If you get that opportunity, so much cool stuff to do. I'm going to give you the exact date. It's February. Is it February 20th, February 7th, 8th? Get out there. It'll be a lot of fun. So LAFC's preseason will come into view, and we will move forward. Craig, thank you. And go LAFC, go Rams. I don't feel good for the Rams. I don't feel good for the Chargers. They both got pretty tough draws in the playoffs. The Chargers kind of fell apart, and they have to face the Patriots. So I'm a little bummed out. Rams they were okay. They have to play the Panthers. I think they'll beat the Panthers, but it's a great sports town with everything that's happening in Los Angeles. We're going to wrap things up with the MLS offseason. It rolls on, and there are some pretty cool things. We mentioned the Ricky Pooch injury. I think that's the biggest item of news because that's an MVP candidate and a guy who makes LA Galaxy mid-poor to a championship team. See you at the CCC, Max. February 24th, second leg. I will be there. Hope to see everyone. I've been excited about some MLS offseason happenings, in particular the teams that struggled last year. Toronto FC signed Walker Zimmerman. A couple other players. DC United are making all kinds of moves, which are very exciting. They signed I think they had a record fee transfer for a Romanian forward in Louis Muteanu. So DC United got Sean Johnson. They got a new defender. They're excited about coming up. New England got a new coach, signing new players, and now this talk that they're going to get a stadium privately funded by the Crafts near Boston, which is huge for the league. Because if you knew about New England, had to go to Gillette Stadium, it was too hard. You got to pick a spot in Boston or Providence or somewhere there in New England to lock it down. So that is good. Yes, John Lee. Miami is strong again this year. They got Dane St. Clair, the goalkeeper. They signed Sergi Reguilon as a fullback from Tottenham Hotspur. Facundo Mura, another fullback that comes from Racing. They got a new stadium coming in. Inter Miami is the gold standard. The good news for LAFC, we're in the other conference, so we have plenty of time to catch up to them. But we'll get a game against them to see where we stand on February 21st. Bro, I missed you in your episode last weekend. Need my LAFC fix. I've been fiending. That's what we're here for. My goal, our producer Sarah Takata, and everyone with LAFC, we want to make this a year-round league. For so long, the league would shut down, and that's changing, not just from us, but from everyone. There's so much information to share with you that we want to keep it going. So you tell us what you want. We want to help serve you. We want to make this YouTube page a multi-dimensional, functioning, year-round news gathering, information, opinions, you name it, with me and many others. It's certainly not a one-person job to assist you in your LAFC fandom and to help build the brand, which is now award-winning thanks to Globe Soccer. Miguel Augusto, what is the status of Lorenzo Della Valle? He's been very active on social media. He just had a baby. Thanks and Happy New Year to you too as well, Miguel Augusto. I learned, I already forgot. Oh no, I learned one word in Basque when I was in the Basque region. Happy New Year. Urte berion. That was it. Excellent show to be here for the first time. We love that. Nothing new on Lorenzo, but highly regarded defender. And he's still with LAFC, which means the powers that be see something in him. So when he's healthy, and keep in mind, he's going to come back from a long run away from the game. That's very difficult to bounce back, and confidence is not going to be high. But they'll work him back. But before the injury, he was one of the top young Italian center backs, played for their team at the under-20s, at the under-20 World Cup. So we got to temper our expectations, but that's a player that is not on the radar that we can certainly look towards here. LAFC has one DP spot left, correct. They might use it for a young DP. Christian Eriksen. I think Christian Eriksen would be great, not only for LAFC, but in MLS. I don't know about if he fits the profile, but, if he really wants to come. We've seen this with Inter Miami, that they get players that can adjust their needs on a timeline to join the team, so why not LAFC? All right. You know me, I can keep going. Maybe keep going, but is there still general tickets for the home opener? Go to our website, Edgar. It's a huge stadium. So if you're talking about the Inter Miami, we do have a BMO Stadium opener against Dallas in March. So there's a couple opener. If you can't do that one, that's going to be special too. Every home game is special. Anyone here can tell you that. We'll put a bow on that. We'll be back next week. I guarantee you there'll be some news to share here on Inside LAFC Podcast, live every Monday, 12:30 Pacific time, early morning Tuesday in Korea. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until we meet again, let's go Black and Gold.